In this episode, we are chatting about what do you need to do right now in your life and in your business in order to level up, in order to step up, in order to show up even bigger and even better. So if we're just meeting for the first time, hello. My name is Jen Casey. I am a business strategy coach, and I work with online coaches in the health and wellness field who want to turn their social media into sales, launch their own courses, and sign clients faster. When we look out over the next 12 months and you think about the things that you want to accomplish, I want you to ask yourself, what do you need to do in your life, in your business right now in order to make that happen? Now, when we ask that question, most of us don't really have a concrete or clear answer. And so I really want to give you some clarity around some things that I have been using recently in my life and business that are absolutely changing the game for me, getting me and giving me that little advantage, that little edge to really plow through fear and start to see some amazing results in my life and in my business. So I've worked with hundreds of coaches over the last year, and I know that so many of you in the early stages, you go through a lot of different emotions. We go through that entrepreneur roller coaster where we came in like ignorance on fire, and there were things that we didn't know. And so we're a little bit surprised when things end up being a little bit more emotionally taxing, a little bit more intellectually difficult than we anticipated, because oftentimes we're learning a whole new skill set. We're already masters of our craft in our health coaching area, or as a nutritionist, or as a personal trainer, but then we come into the business world and we are starting from zero again. I did that when I was a health coach, so I totally get it, and that's why now as a business coach, I love working specifically with health and wellness coaches. So for this year, I have some massive goals, as I know you do too, and I have no question about the fact that I'm going to smash them because I've got these 3 tools in my toolbox. So how am I getting even more clarity around how to smash 2018, how to get to that next level? Okay, the first thing is recently I realized that there were certain things in my life that I had kind of let slip. Yeah, I was crushing it in my business. I need no accountability when it comes to my business. But certain other areas of my life, like my health, even though I was a health coach, I noticed started to slack a little bit. My fitness wasn't taking care of my back pain, wasn't taking care of like my hormone issues that I knew I needed to address. So I just made this commitment to myself that 2018 was going to be the year of, number 1, vibrant energy and health, and number 2, fun and playfulness. Because I know you guys know when we get into that hustle business mode, we get into that really heavy masculine energy of go, go, go. And we forget sometimes that we're doing this because we love it and it's fun. So those were my number 1 and my number 2 values. The things that I was going to focus on and allow to guide me through the next year and beyond. Those are my priorities. I, like I said, need no accountability for showing up in my business. Success, that's in my DNA. I'm driven, I'm focused, but I need massive accountability in those other areas. So what I've started to do, the first thing I've started to do is I made a decision that I was no longer going to negotiate with my mind. So when we think about our mind, it's really the mind. When you think about all the thoughts that flow through your brain every single day, are they really your thoughts? Like, where did those come from? Those are things that we've heard, that we've consumed, they're stories that we've created. And so I just have recently, over the last couple of months, started to become really aware more and more. That's part of my practice, and I'm sure it is yours as well, of, oh, that's a BS story. I'm making up a story like, oh, I can't get out of bed because I need extra sleep. Well, no, you don't. You're actually now causing yourself to wake up in the middle of a sleep cycle, get your butt out of bed and do the freaking workout, or do the freaking thing that you said you were going to do last night. And so keeping my word to myself has been number 1. So that's my number 1 tip, is keeping my word to myself, but specifically making a conscious decision that I no longer negotiated with my mind. So it's like, I don't negotiate with my mind. And I made that my mantra, to the point where I've even started speaking directly to my subconscious, because we have our conscious mind and our subconscious. And like, if I want to wake up at a certain time before I go to bed, I will say to myself, I now command my subconscious mind to blank. I now command my subconscious mind to wire itself to wake up promptly at 9 o'clock with an abundance of energy and vitality and to feel vibrant, right? And you can say whatever you want. And you can even say, I command my subconscious mind to now heal the cut on my finger. I did that the other day. It was kind of freaky. Healed in like a day. And I like really cut myself pretty deep with a knife. It was quite the gash. So you could do that for anything. How can you start to play with this to prime your mind, your brain, to work for you, not against you? So that's number one, really not just like creating a discipline on the surface level, but actually using psychology-backed systems and tools, things that are proven, have been tested and studied, things that work. And the other thing that I've really started to apply that I'm a huge fan of, I don't know if you guys have read or heard Mel Robbins, not related to Tony Robbins, talk about the 5-second rule. That's this thing where, again, we kind of negotiate with our minds a bit when we are given too much time. So a lot of you guys, if you have clients who are going to go do a workout and they just go, oh, I lost my motivation, I wasn't motivated. Or if you are thinking about investing in a program or buying the healthy food or hiring a business coach or whatever it is, we go, well, do I really need that? Am I going to show up? Is it going to be hard? And we talk ourselves out of it. So applying the 5-second rule, what you do is anytime you're approached with something where you have to be decisive, where you have to make a decision right now, is you count backwards. You literally go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you go and you do it. So for some of the women that I work with inside my academy, the Soulful Sales Academy, they were hysterical. They were using it for getting on live video. And ironically enough, it used to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but they were using that to get over their fear and just freaking press go live. And then once they got on video, they got on live, they lived through it, and they were really happy that they did it. They were really glad. So what's powerful about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is that it's not just like a fun tool to use, it's actually going to disrupt the pattern. So here's what's happening for a lot of us. We get into these patterns where you go into that downward spiral some days where you might be in the middle of building your business, you're creating a landing page, you're doing something that's new and it's overwhelming to you. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, this is so hard. Oh my God, how am I going to do this? And we start spinning out and telling ourselves this story about how we can't do something, or maybe you're scrolling social media and you're looking at all of these other people who are launching new programs for, early 2018. I know a lot of my clients were freaking out that they didn't have programs or certain things out on January 1st and they were going to miss the wave, and they were telling themselves this really pretty depressing story about how they weren't going to make sales, they weren't going to be able to help people because all of the people were already scooped up by all these other companies and personal brands. And I was like, guys, there's always people who need to lose weight. There's always going to be somebody who's ready when you're there showing up. So why are you telling yourself that story? Get rid of that story. It's not serving you. So instead, we want to interrupt those patterns. Whenever we're getting into telling ourselves that story, we need to cut it off and break the pattern. And I love the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 because that's just a simple way to do it. You break the pattern. And whenever I'm working with my clients and they start going, well, I want to make this much money, but I'm like, boop, nope, no buts. There's no buts. You owned it. Say that you want to make that much money. Don't get into the old story. We've got to, break that pattern. So even sometimes with my students and clients, they'll say, well, I don't know what my question is. I'm really stuck on this. I'm like, nope, do not use that word stuck. Go do 25 burpees. They're like, what, 25 burpees? I'm like, yeah, because you need to break the pattern. We need to change what's happening neurologically and change what fires right after that. We need to cut it off. And when you start to break the pattern and break those connections, we can create new connections, ones that actually serve you. And when you start to get in the habit of doing that, it's so much easier to catch yourself in those moments that aren't serving you and actually start to redirect to more empowering stories and actions. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, give yourself that and go. And it's not because you need to do 50 burpees or whatever. It's literally to break the pattern. And, if you ever watch, there's a lot of great case studies of, I forget who it was exactly, a psychologist. He had been working in I will find the name of the psychologist, but I remember when I was getting my degree in psychology, we were talking about this, and there was this therapist, the psychologist, who was working in a psych ward, and one of his patients was having an absolute fit, going crazy, having a temper tantrum. And so instead of going, hey, calm down, it's going to be okay, he just decided to mirror her. So he started doing all the crazy shit she was doing. He was throwing himself up against the wall, screaming, kicking, and then she stepped back and looked at him like, what are you doing? You're crazy. And he's like, no, I'm just mirroring what you're doing, because he did something different and he helped her break that pattern. Super fun things to do. If you have like toddlers who are having temper tantrums, try something new. I did that with one of my friend's kids. Just started mirroring him when he was having a temper tantrum, literally mimicking everything he was doing. And it allowed him to kind of break that pattern of being, in a temper tantrum, because he was like, what's this crazy lady doing next to me? Break the pattern. Okay, so that's one thing that I want you to be mindful of. So give yourself some triggers. Use the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or come up with your own. Maybe it's 25 burpees. Anytime you start to notice your energy dropping down, or you start to notice yourself comparing other people, or maybe it's getting off of social media when you start to notice it, or setting a timer for yourself so that you're not spending so much time on social media. So set up, some boundaries and things for yourself, because that will absolutely help. So then the last piece that I'm just loving right now, the shifts that I'm making, and I feel like they'll be really powerful for you, is I'm starting to really make sure that I have certain things on my plate every single day that challenge me in a unique way. So right now, it's getting up and getting back into my workout routine. I used to teach fitness classes multiple times a week. Okay, I used to work out like a fiend. That was like my thing. I was the fitness chick, fitness and health lady, and I ended up with some injuries, and then started doing business coaching, and it was like, well, it's not related to my business anymore. And I've seen a lot of other women who I've coached who've transitioned out of health coaching do the same thing. So I know it's not just me. It's like, oh, well, it's not part of my business anymore, so I don't have to be a walking billboard. I don't need to take care of my health. Holy crap, you're so wrong, and so was I, because your health is everything. Without your health, without your energy, without your vitality, your business does not grow. Your business can only grow as far as you do. Truth talk. So what I've finally, sometimes like it just takes a minute, takes a little bit. It took me about a year and a half to like really get back on track, because I needed to go to a freaking chiropractor and physical therapist. So in the new year, I decided, okay, I'm gonna stop making excuses. My big excuse for why I couldn't work out was every time I work out, I'm in pain, which was true. But I said, you know what? Why am I allowing this to hold me back? I'm way too young to not be working out and not have the ability to move the way that I want to. So let me fix it. Let me finally get to the bottom of this. So instead of avoiding it and being scared about what I might find, which was really what was underneath it, I went, and I'm actually not nearly as bad. My bones are fine. My joints are okay. Like, I have to be careful on certain things. But I was creating this whole story about how I was like my arms were gonna fall off, right? I'm completely fine, and now I can work out without pain, and it's freaking awesome. So sometimes we build these things up in our heads. We create this giant thing. If you've ever read the book Eat That Frog, it's like that one thing that's been just weighing on your shoulders that you need to get done, that thing that you need to just go and do, but you keep putting it off. Like if you're that person that waits to the very end of the day to do the workout, and all day, all you're thinking about is, oh my God, I have to do a workout. Or if it's for you, if it's business and it's live video and you hate doing live video and you put it off all day long and you wait all day long to do the live video, and then at the end of the day, you finally do it and you feel a million times better. Find those things that you absolutely hate doing and start doing them earlier in the day, for real. God, the stories we tell ourselves have so much power. Not only do they have so much power, I love that you said that, but they will literally sculpt your like, I can look at somebody, take a look at all of the stories that they're telling themselves, and tell you where they're going to be in 6 months, tell you where they're going to be in a year, because they're speaking it into existence and they're showing up. It's not random. It's not like, oh, I'll do this today, that tomorrow. No, there's a pattern to all of our behavior. And if you want to get really scientific and mathematical about it, if you've ever read the book The Compound Effect, you can literally see, based on the habits that somebody's doing, how much they're going to weigh. It's calories in, calories out. We can measure that. You can take a look at how somebody's showing up in their business and have a really good picture of how much it's going to grow in 6 months based on the things that they're doing every single day. How many people they're reaching out to, how many people are getting on their live videos, what they're spending in Facebook ads. Like, we can literally get a picture. This isn't random. This isn't fate. This isn't some people are lucky. This is numbers. And I love the science and psychology aspect of this, because it's like, you can't argue with that. You can't. It's there. It's there for you. So I remember even when I was having a really low point, like back when I was a health coach, I was like, oh my God, like I was showing up every day, and I was like, I was in like hustle mode. I was working like 12-hour days. I think I had a broken ankle at the time. So I was like not leaving my computer, because I had to just like keep myself busy so that I wouldn't feel sorry for myself and my ankle. And I just buried myself in like learning and courses and YouTube videos and studying online marketing. And I just went through this crazy immersive time in my business where I just threw myself into it, and I built so much endurance and so much stamina. It was crazy. So much endurance and so much stamina, and I had to really push through so much fear around really growing my business. But because of that, people would look at me 3 months after, they're like, how did you do it? And I'm like, oh, I just literally showed up so big for 3 months straight because I had nothing else to do. Couldn't work, couldn't do anything, couldn't teach. So I could look at that mathematically, and it made perfect sense as to why my business had exponentially grown during the time of my injury. So same thing for you guys. It's no different. The way that you're showing up today, you might think, oh, I'm not going to do the live video. Who really cares? It's just one live video. No, it's not just one live video, because how many times do you say that to yourself? And it's not just one workout, and it's not one cheeseburger. We all know this. We've seen it happen. It's not 1 pound that throws you off. It's the 50 that you go, where did this come from? Right? So the point here is we really want to start to develop endurance and stamina in doing really boring shit, in doing like the absolute mundane stuff. Like, tell me right now, think about it right now, what is the thing that you hate doing? Like, what is that thing that is so annoying to you that you're like, I literally hate creating graphics. I never want to create another PowerPoint slide in my life. There's something. We've all got something, and that's okay. You can have a thing that you really don't like doing, and maybe that's something that you can actually outsource and give to somebody else. Unfortunately, you can't outsource working out. You got to do that on your own. But listen, if you're like, I hate meal prep, well, hire a chef or hire somebody, if you can, to do some of that for you, and, then you won't have to do it, and it'll be done for you, and you'll be able to eat healthy. And the other thing I want to talk about really quick is, so we've got to have this discipline. You can command your subconscious mind. You can break the patterns in your mind by using something like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or forcing yourself into doing burpees every time you start to get in that old pattern, that habit, that story that's no longer serving you. And we want to build that stamina and endurance. So we really want to make sure that we're showing up consistently and understanding that it's not just about the short term, like, oh, I didn't want to do this live video today, but really seeing the long-term implications of not showing up and not doing something that you know is going to grow your business. Because you don't feel good when you skip those things. You always know. You're like, I screwed up. I should have done that. And then in comes the guilt and the shame, and then we don't want to do it the next day because we're just still feeling bad about what we didn't do the day before. So we got to break that pattern. But the other thing I want to talk to you about is there's so many amazing entrepreneurs who I have the privilege of coaching, and so many women who I'm connected to in the online space. And one thing that I've really started to see recently, this massive trend of specifically women shifting away from really stepping into their feminine energy, which is really that flow state, that creativity, that nurturing energy. And it's not male, female, it's just feminine and masculine. And the masculine energy, we all have both. Men have feminine and masculine as well. And for women, the masculine energy is that hustle energy. It's that go, go, go. It's that competitive energy, which I see coming out a lot for women in network marketing, because you're literally ranked right next to the people who are also in your company. So it seems to be almost more extreme because it's highlighted in certain network marketing companies. But I want to encourage you, and I want to, if you need it, give you permission to rest. Give you permission to take some time off. Because honestly, when it comes to entrepreneurship, the strategy is amazing. And I could talk about strategy all day long. But it's really only about 20% of the game. The other 80% is mindset, is really honing your psychology, being able to have that discipline where you don't negotiate with your mind, where you show up every day, where you don't get squirrel brain every single time you sit down to work, where you have clarity on what needs to happen, where you're able to outsource and hand things off to people without getting super overwhelmed and start doubting yourself and all that stuff, right? So there's all these little things. So give yourself that permission to rest, because I don't see enough people doing that, because it's not celebrated. It's not celebrated in a lot of circles in the same way that's like, oh, work 16-hour days today. And it's like, what are we, bros? Like, what are we, bumping chests? Like, no, we need to have a balance of both. And I used to wear it as a badge of honor that I worked my ass off. And I still, I am very proud of the work that I've put in to build my business to where it is today. But at the end of the day, if I had taken more time to rest, and if I had started outsourcing things earlier, I have no doubt that I would have been a lot happier and more joyful during the process, because what the hell's the point unless you're enjoying it and having a little bit of fun, which is like fun and playfulness, top of my list. And it's like, it could have probably grown even faster if I had just gotten other people on my team, outsourced, hired team members earlier. So, give yourself that time and that permission to rest so that you can start looking at all of these areas in your business and get that support if you need it. If it's a coach, if it's team member, there's going to be holes in your business. You have blind spots. We all have them. So if you're not already working with a mentor who can guide you through some of this and just have that objective eye on your business, I seriously encourage you to begin looking into that. I have a mentor. I'm part of a high-level mastermind, and I can already tell you that this year is going to be off the charts because I have that tight-knit, safe community where I can really get that additional support in scaling my business to the next level. It's already an amazing business, but I'm like, okay, what's next? How can I reach more people? How can I serve more people? How can I show up in a bigger way, have more of an impact, right? And then I also want to give you that permission to take time to build, permission to take time behind the scenes. Maybe you're writing a book, maybe you're creating a course. And I work with so many women who, and I get it. Like, I'm there too at times where it's like, oh my God, I'm building this course behind the scenes, but I also need to be doing 4,562 things on social media. I have to post 5 times a day, which no, you don't. And, they're feeling like they have to be present here, they have to be present at work, they have to be present with their family, they have to be on calls with their clients, they have to be building this course, and then they have to go do, live video 5 times a week. You will burn out. You will burn out. So give yourself that permission to take the time that you need to do the things you need to do. And I love working in seasons. So if I know that, the last 2 years, I had a season for building a course. I had a season for tweaking the course and working with those clients and testing. I had a season for launching my podcast, right? So I've had all of these different seasons in my business, a season for scaling. Right now, I'm not in a season where I'm like crazy on social media. I'm about to go into a launch for the next class of Soulful Sales Academy. That's going to be opening up very soon. So you're going to start seeing a lot more of me. But right now, I'm doing a lot of behind the scenes tweaking with my email marketing, with sales funnels. I'm just telling you the real deal. This is what's going on in my business. I've had to tweak and change a lot of things and reset a lot of things that, okay, this isn't really working. How can we tweak this? How can we change this? And I'm also really showing up massively big for my clients right now, for my coaching clients. So, give yourself that permission to say, okay, I am giving 110% to this right now. This is something that's going to have to take a back seat. And that's okay. We can't be everywhere. But if you can get help, that will take a lot off your plate. Like having a podcast editor, for example, huge. Oh my God. Like, I would not be able to have a podcast if I was trying to do all aspects of it. Like, that gets edited, show notes get created, it gets put up on my blog, like bing, bang, boom, like done for me. Like, that's hours of time that I get back in my week where I'm able to show up for my coaching students, for, on a live video, or just I'm able to go to the chiropractor or get some rest or just take some time to reset or learn something new so that I can come recharged with new content for my audience. Because sometimes we're just so new to it that we don't know I don't know what things to even give to somebody else. But if you're starting to outsource, I would just make a list of all the things that you do on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. Truth talk, the only things that you need to do, or the only things that only you can do, is like coaching your clients, which can kind of be someone else also, and getting on live video. Really getting on live video, recording a podcast. Those are the things, like, if your voice and your face is being used, only you can do that. But, there are people who they have, you look at somebody like Tony Robbins, and he has trained other people to be coaches underneath him. So if you're wanting to long vision, long game, create some kind of team, you can even start training other people how to be coaches within your organization and create more time freedom for yourself so that you can continue to create content and build and scale. So really, I would write down only the things that you can do and really start to develop that. So that is what I have for you tonight. If you found this powerful, feel free to tag a friend below and invite them to come join Intuitive Boss Babes, heyjencasey.com/group. So if you missed the masterclass, basically a bunch of us, we were on Zoom, presented a live masterclass. We were talking about developing and designing your business vision. So if you do want to grab the replay for that, you can go to heyjencasey.com/goals. It's about 2 hours and we walk through all of the different things to really get you in that place so that you are in a peak state as you're creating your goals, really start to expand, okay, what do I want to create? What do I want to feel in the next 12 months? And really starting to identify, okay, if this is my goal, this is my to-do list, these are my money-making activities. So if you are feeling squirrel brain every single day, then you may want to go and check that out to get some clarity. Thank you guys so much for jumping on, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye.